Hi, I'm Alexandra Ellis of aewellness, and today I have an exercise that will help you to strengthen one of the deepest hip flexors and core stabilizers known as the psoas. The psoas is a long muscle that starts at the front of the spine all the way at the bottom of your rib cage, which is really in your low back, and it trails down through the back side of the torso, still on the inside of your guts, all the way down to your inner thigh. Now, often we just think of the psoas as a hip flexor, but it also is responsible for rib thrusting. And in a rib thrust position, the muscle is actually a little bit shortened. So many people have a psoas that is overstretched and weak, or they might have one that is too short and compressed and weak. But either way, learning how to stabilize your torso while moving your limbs is a critical skill if you're going to have good posture and a healthy lower back. So here's how you do it. You just lay down on the ground. And for this one, you actually want to press your low back into the ground. This will make it easier to really feel if you are losing your spinal stability. And you can progress it to a neutral spine where you have a slight arch in the low back once you feel more comfortable with this. But let's just start with pressing the low back into the ground. So I do have a little bit of a posterior tilt here. Then you'll reach the feet up towards the ceiling. And what I want you to do is to see how far to the ground you can lower the right leg without your rib cage popping up off the floor and without your low back changing shape. And then you'll switch. And so you can imagine that you are riding a bicycle. Now, I'm not using my hands to stabilize here, but for your first couple times, you may want to bring your hands out to the side for extra stability. And in fact, if you turn palms up, you can press the back of your arms into the ground, keeping the rib cage down so that your upper back is even more engaged in the activity. So that's the basics of it. And then we can start to make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit more challenging, but always remembering that you are trying to keep your rib cage and your pelvis, these two, using the front of your rib cage and the front of your pelvis as your landmarks, you're trying to keep them aligned the whole time. So another thing we could do is a little bit of a bicycle exercise. So rib cage is still down, and I'm lowering my legs, but I'm also doing a little bit more movement. So just something more challenging. And you could even do this, out to the side and get all crazy with the legs. Because the important part is, can my spine and psoas, can they stabilize my torso and my spine as the limbs move? Now, once you've mastered the basic and you can keep your low back on the ground and you're able to breathe while you're here, it's very important, then we'll add on to this with some more props. So a block is going to be fairly easy in that it is stable. So we'll just start with that one. So the block goes underneath your pelvis. All right. Now, I don't have the ground beneath me to feel what my rib cage is doing. So it's up to you to now have to propriocept or feel that your rib cage and pelvis are aligned with one another. So now my brain has to know what good alignment feels like rather than using the ground beneath you for support. There's the basics there. While you are elevated, this does give you more elongation that you can do for the front of the hip so that we get the eccentric and the concentric lengthening of the psoas. So the psoas has to slow the leg down and then also to shorten to bring the leg up so we get both aspects of how the muscle works. So there's another option. Again, here you can do all the crazy leg positions. And if you're still like, no, I need more, it's not hard enough yet, don't worry. Use a unstable object, and that will make it even more interesting. So this is just like a playground ball, and you just place that underneath your pelvis. And I probably should have practiced this before I started, but I'll definitely be using my upper body now. So rib cage towards pelvis. Now I have even more core instability that I have to work against as I do this. And you can see my pelvis rocking from side to side as that psoas is trying to navigate the uncertainty of the gorgeous ball. Again, here you can do the bicycle legs, but really paying close attention to keeping the front of your rib cage and the front of your pelvis aligned. So you're not letting this huge back bend happen because we want to be sure that this exercise translates to standing. And you want to stand with rib cage and pelvis right over one another rather than ribs thrusted out all the time. So give that a try, play with it, let me know how it works for you. And if you have any questions, as always, you can pop them down into the comment box below. And if you want to learn more about maximizing your mobility to live pain-free in your body, be sure you check out my website at aewellness.com and stay tuned right here for more videos.